Welcome to Erica Lynn Speaks. An inspirational, motivational conversation designed specifically to help you move forward. And now, here's Erica Lynn.
Are we live? We live. Welcome to another wonderful episode of Erica Lynn Speaks podcast. I'm back. Well, today's episode, we're going to be talking about rap riches versus rap reality. But before we get into today's episode, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow me on all my social media. You know, all you got to do is type in Erica Lynn Speaks. Y'all know I'm Googleable. I be making up my own words. Y'all know it. I'm so excited about tonight's episode because we got a lot to talk about. I have a really special guest here. And the biggest thing is a lot of people get into the music industry or the show business, so to speak, and they have an idea of what they want their career to turn out to be. But then somewhere along the lines, reality actually hit. So my guest tonight, we're going to talk about the reality versus what they think their career should have been like or whatever that ideal is. But, you know, before we go into all of that, we got to give a shout out to our sponsor. So I want to give a shout out to the company that sponsors Erica Lynn Speaks. So here's a word from our sponsor.
Experience the difference with Executive Transportation Services Network, your trusted leader in luxury ground transportations and concierge services. Our award-winning team delivers safe, reliable, and professional services every time. Call 734-770-8990. Choose Executive Transportation Services Network, where excellence rides with you.
Yes. Thank you, ETSN 24/7 Executive Service Transportation. We really appreciate your sponsorship and all that you do here over Erica Lynn Speaks podcast, because without our sponsors, y'all make it kind of tough for a girl over here. It's only one of me, and it's the many of y'all out here in the world, and I need some help to make it all, worthwhile, to bring it all to fruition, so to speak. So without further ado, we're going to jump into tonight's episode. So joining me tonight is my guest who has lived through highs and lows of everything in between. He's seen how the show and the business don't align. And he is here tonight to share, the difference between the show and biz, and hopefully walk away, give some of you guys some things to walk away with and some gems about the difference between the show business. So before I bring on my special guest, I want to show you guys a glimpse into his career.
Aftermath is more rap on my first half. Disperse a real person, curse the worst rap. First half to step up, careless opposes. The MC connections got a pushing up roses. Cause I got a posse to 60 deep to quickly creep. Bust caps, bust raps, and putting something to sleep. Now I'm chillin' KKIINNG off the bat. And now we'll send these. Impressing me less. You claim to be real, you just a test. Press the issue and issue the issue. This is an introduction. Verbal assault for non-believers. Hit you, get you open like receivers. Best believe it's full contact in my dispersal. I'm universal, quick to let a verse flow unrehearsed but non-commercial. Me down to my homies who are gone, the ones that still around, rolling thicker than hunts in A1. Since day one, never fake the funk, but some punks wanna play dumb and say Hussein doesn't have what it takes. Play me out like Curtis blowing, yo, these are the breaks. My whole family's getting props, rolling like a bus with no brakes and no stops, coming at you like a straight shot. No corners, no bent angle, just straight flush, ready to rush, ready to mangle. Niggas kill me asking questions. Yo, who the best? So I'ma drop you in your tracks like I had to do the rest. Screw the rest, I'm leaving 2 in your chest. It's too late to think we got you in this mess. Who's them ghost writing, close fighting? Talk real big and then they go silent. I'm cool and calm, but I could go violent. Twisting up, getting higher than the co-pilot. You won't fire, here's more fire. Ain't no decline, I'm up in my prime and I could go higher. Talk real fast and I'ma blow by ya. Copped your album, false alarm, it was no fire.
Yes. You guys seen a snippet into my guests, So without further ado, I'm just about to bring it on in. We're going to welcome the real Hussein to Erica Lynn Speaks Podcast. Thank you, Hussein.
It's an honor. It's a pleasure. We got a history.
So your name is Donald, but everybody in the rap world know you as the real Hussein.
Yeah.
So
Hussein. My Gmail is the real Hussein.
Okay. Because there was another Hussein out there at one point.
He was a good friend of mine. Hussein.
Oh, okay. So he was Poe Hussein.
Yeah.
And then you was the real Hussein.
Yeah, nope, I was Hussein.
I know that part.
And he was Poe Hussein.
Okay.
East side, I'm the west side, 7 Mile. I don't know if you remember Starstruck. You worked at Ebony Showcase.
You ain't got to tell everybody all that. You ain't got to tell everybody all that.
Shout out to
we ain't here to talk about Erica Lynn Speaks, okay? Okay, got you. That's all right. So anyway, I just want you to share a little bit about your background and where you came from so the audience can know a little bit more about Hussein.
Well, the funny thing is, since 1987, 88, I started out, me and my brother Charles Green, Chuck. We were MC Connection. We started with a guy named Lawrence X, who was a public access cable person. He owned a cable, little station, and we would show on his public access. So from there, it went to Jewel Site, 24 Karat Productions, 2930, Dexter in Pasadena, Marissa, you know them too.
Yeah.
That's my mentor. Shout out to Renee, Craig, Kim, Doc, everybody, that was a part of that movement.
Okay. So the question I want to know is, when did you first realize that music wasn't just a hobby, but it was something that you really wanted to pursue?
When I realized I was good at it, because it's a lot of stuff I tried. I tried to hoop. I wasn't good at it. I tried football. I was so good, but I was too small and I didn't want to get hit. Met the rap game. I fell in love with it from Run DMC and LL Cool J, Rakim, just seeing them. And I said that I could do that.
Okay. Now, were you always called Hussein? Because, some rappers, they change their name in the middle of the game.
Well, when I started getting notoriety, I was Hussein. But before I was in the MC Connection, that was me and Charles Green. I was called Rhymes Rock Fresh, because you got to realize that was older time.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. So that's good to know. So what was the music scene like when you first stepped on the music scene? Because that was like, I hate to date you, date you.
It's going
to
what I mean? But I'm not ashamed of my age.
Okay.
But back then it was different. Like I said, you had Awesome Dre, you had Prince Vince, you had Detroit's Most Wanted, you had Smiley, Be Def. I gotta, Miles Dixon had introduced me to a lot of stuff at that time. So a lot of my music history dates back to Miles Dixon. I've been knowing Miles since he was like 15, 16.
Doc Chill. Was he always known as Doc Chill?
He was always known like the song he had, Freaky.
Doc Chill did. That was Doc that did that song.
Doc Chill. That's him and Tina.
I never knew.
Miko.
That's a legendary song.
Freaky, I'm freaky. Yeah, that's
I've
Doc
been
Chill.
friends with Doc
Yeah.
all these years. I never knew. You ain't tell me.
I thought you knew that.
I didn't.
Yeah, Doc is he's a pinnacle of hip hop history.
Wow. See, Doc, I just learned something about you. Okay, then. That's what's up. So, what was it like the early days in the studio, or did y'all even go into the studio?
We went in the studio and Jules Silas and Doc and Rodney Gilbert, you know Rodney, they were like drill sergeants. You know, you had to have your material memorized, and I had a bad habit of putting stuff in a notepad, and you would hear my pages turning during the song, and I thought just because I couldn't hear it, nobody would hear it. But Jewel was a drill sergeant, so he would make us record like literally 3 hours until we got it right, and we had to have it memorized. So that's something that always sticks with me.
So you did a lot of rehearsing.
Yes.
And I think that's a key point that you bring out, is that some people think that you could just get on stage and that is perfection, but you actually have to work hard at it in order to get to that level. So I have to ask you now, everybody knows you as the legend to be able to freestyle.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So ever since I've known you, you've been able to freestyle, and I'm sure you've been doing it long before we've met. But did you just wake up one day and been able to freestyle, or is that something that you grew into?
Well, I grew into it because it was a thing that we all did. Me, Doc, Rob Nichols, Charles Green, B Def, rest in peace. Skeet, rest in peace, my brother. It was called Rhyme Roulette.
Okay.
And the whole purpose of that was teaching you how to freestyle. I would say a rhyme line, but I wouldn't finish it. I would say a line, and you would have to say the next line to rhyme with the last word that I said. And then you would pass it to him, and it would go all the way around in a circle until somebody messed up. That's why it was called Rhyme Roulette, till the last person was standing, which was always me.
Okay. So that's kind of like something that me and the kids do when we here on the holiday. Somebody breaks out and start freestyling. So it's funny because my stepfather was here with us for Christmas,
Nathan,
and he has said to the kids, which one of y'all got that skill set to rap? And so we all said Q, and then all of us just got in the floor and we started like freestyling all for about 2 hours until we just laughed. And I was like, okay, we gotta, it was enough. But it's not easy to do.
Oh no, it's not easy at all.
Yeah, so that's a skill set that makes you legendary, to be able to freestyle, because a lot of people got to write they rhymes and they rap.
Well, I know you remember that Proof used to come over.
Yes, I remember.
So
Proof.
that's who was like the person I garnered my freestyling after, because he was the best in the city. And I used to argue and say, I'm on that level too, but if you asked around, period, Proof was, and still to this day, rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
Proof was one of the best freestylers I've ever heard, in my life, and that's who I used to try and garner my freestyling, far as not mimic, but just have that reputation of being good like that.
Okay, yeah, because I do remember we would go to your performances, and I just remember people in the audience saying, "Who's Sane?" And they will hold up an item, and then you just start rapping about that water bottle or whatever. And everybody in the audience will hold up different
Buddha
things,
bless.
and you rap about, shout out to Buddha. You would just rap about whatever it is. And to me, that made you legendary, because it's different, like genres of things that people do as far as rapping and singing and spoken words and motivation. But to be able to just come off the dome in any of those industries, I think that makes you superb.
Yes.
Okay. So I want to ask you a question about your expectations versus reality.
Oh, okay.
At that time, what was your expectations? What do you think making it was going to be like?
I mean, well, look at the Jay-Z's, the Nas's, look at the way that they live, the things that they have, the Maybachs, the cars, the fan base. I mean, just being followed by entourage. That was what I thought it was going to be. But the reality of it was nothing like that, because I don't want to like blame anybody for anything. A lot of the decisions I made were my own.
Okay.
I was bullheaded. I'm an Aquarius, so we think we know everything. I know a lot, but I didn't know a lot when it came to that game. And I just thought it was about talent and not, it was 99% talent and 1% business. And it was opposite.
So did you read any books or like that nobody schooled you?
Well, I always wanted to focus on being an artist. Because you've seen the management we went through when I had the Life or Death Entertainment with Big C and Big Will.
Right.
And then I moved to Barrett Strong.
Right. I
And
remember.
Grapevine Entertainment. And Barrett Strong was the one that wrote I Heard It Through the Grapevine. And he had took a liking to my music. So he started working with me and starting to, mold me and build me the way that he wanted it to be, though. Not the way that I wanted, but just the way that he thought it was supposed to be at that time.
Because I think a lot of people back in those days, they wanted to change the rappers to be more mainstream.
Yep.
And nowadays, it's all over the place. Like you're
It's
lucky
all
if
over
you
the place.
find some clean rap. So let's talk a little bit about your experience. You've seen the inner workings of show business. So what was the most eye-opening experience you had during that time in the industry?
Well, I would have to say went to Jack the Rapper, which was in Atlanta, Georgia.
So make sure you so the microphone can
Oh.
pick you up. Right.
Yeah, well, we went to Jack the Rapper. It's in Atlanta. A lot of people that know about the BMI, the Impact Convention, these were events where you had to pay and you could be around these artists. And I was able to meet Tupac. It wasn't in a good circumstance because he must have had a bad day or whatever, but he was just in the elevator like he wanted to fight everybody. And we were looking at him like, man, it's Tupac, just happy, but you don't know the stress that them artists go through, because we didn't mean anything, but I guess they get tired of people wanting and pulling from them. So that was an eye opener, just seeing that everything wasn't smiles and handshakes and hugs, that it was a different side to the business that I wasn't ready for.
Yeah. So when you first started, did you actually understand like the contracts, the royalties, the ownerships, or were you just solely focused on the craft?
Well, I can speak from this and you can speak from experience too.
Yes.
I was focused more on the craft and I thought I knew the business, which I didn't. I didn't understand what points were. I didn't know what percentages was. I didn't know what royalties was. I didn't know what BMI was, ASCAP. All I knew was rap. That's all I did is rap, record, rap. When it came to the business and you asked me a question, I'd be like, well, ask him. That's my manager. And a lot of people that I put in that position weren't qualified. They just had the money, but they didn't have the know-how.
There you go. So that's very a very important point that you brought out, because there is a lot of people out here who do have money. So back in those days, the money was like the street guys who had the money and they're going to put you on. But then you have some corporate guys or you have some people that's in the industry who have a little bit of change and they want to put you on. But then the question that you have to ask yourself, if you don't know the business behind the show business and this person is coming with the money, who is the person that's going to handle the business? Like, who are you going to? Who are you, getting that experience and that advice from? And so you have to be clear about the business side. So that is important. And so I hope somebody that's listening to the podcast that wants to be in any entertainment industry really focus on the business and getting the knowledge of the business. So that's a prevalent point. So thank you for that.
No problem.
So at what point did you realize that the show and the business were two different animals?
Well, like I said, when I had my start, the people that were promoting me, Life or Death Records at that time, they were street dudes. They had money. So they had money to get me in competitions. They put me in the Rap Olympics. I did the Tunnel and New York, and I wasn't ready for it. I thought because I was doing the hip hop shop and Club 313 with Armageddon and Cricket. Like people that know hip hop, Starstruck, I know Buddha, everybody. But I learned once I stepped my foot outside of Detroit and got a chance to see how the other people performed and rap, because I would see them, but I had never experienced it. And the tunnel was like Southwest Detroit, Highland Park, Gratiot, all the Flint, the Pontiac, the worst hoods that you could think of, all in one arena.
Mm-hmm.
And I was able to see DMX before I knew who he was.
Mm-hmm.
And he was up there at the time with his arm in the cast. I'll never forget that. He broke his arm from fighting,
Mm-hmm.
but still went up there and rapped. And the guy that I lost to,
Mm-hmm.
his name, oh man, he was from North Carolina. And I always think about him all the time. One big experience we did have, and Charles Green remembers this. We were at a party.
Mm-hmm.
Jack the Rapper, DJ Magic Mike was DJing.
Mm-hmm.
Before people knew who Old Dirty Bastard was from Wu-Tang Clan. He came in and started freestyling. I never knew who he was.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and the guy that I lost to, his name was Mad Skills.
Okay.
So if you do your research, he was hip hop. This when the hip hop thing was going.
So you mentioned the hip hop shop, right? That was that shop on 7 Mile.
Yeah,
the clothing that was
Malone.
the Proof on the clothing store, or Maurice Malone on the
owned
clothing store. Okay. But that was the place where everybody would go and have the rap battles at the hip hop shop.
Yes.
And so it was pretty. The one thing that I can say that I admire about rap is that y'all can pull up anywhere, any spot, and the show is going down, right? It doesn't have to be a rhyme or a reason. You don't have to put all this money into a big venue to have an event, and people would show up, especially in that day and time.
Yes.
It wasn't really a lot of places to go other than like St. Andrews Hall, and
And you had Timbo's, you had the C-Note, you had Napoleon's Retreat. Remember, right there on Chicago, that Buddha and Wuthering and everybody.
Yeah. I remember.
Yeah.
So that's funny. So I gotta ask you, looking back over your career, what is one of the biggest regrets of your career, and why does that specific moment or decision still sit with you today?
Okay, well, this is one that you'll be familiar with. Okay, a lot of people don't know. I knew Royce since he was like 17, 18. Him, Little Tracy, Trey Little.
Because Tracy was part of what group? He's part
Wall
of
Street.
Because they had a famous record deal.
Yeah, they had a famous record deal with Tommy Boy at that time.
Okay.
Now, Little Tracy had told me that they were going to go to New York and pursue this deal. I had a job. I was working at Tower Automotive, and they told me to come on and leave with them. When they left, I remember seeing them at AZ and with Nas and all these New York people, and I was sitting there like, wow, they actually took a leap on faith. And because he told me, he said, well, what you want to do, Little Tracy? I'll never forget it. He said, what you going to be, the best welder or the best rapper? I said, well, right now, Tower is paying my bills. Rap ain't paying it. And that's the biggest regret, that I didn't go with him and Royce down in New York and, take a chance on.
Because they both came back big. Royce Defy. Everybody know Royce. Because I follow Royce on social media, and him and Q still talk from time to time. And I was like, well, like, Q, you reach out to him? He like, well, man, he kind of, going through something right now. But shout out to Royce Defy. Now is Tracy still in the industry? Because he and I've talked.
Trey Little in a minute, but I've been trying to look him up. I could probably ask like Starstruck
but you can find anybody on social media. All you have to do is like have one of the kids.
I just don't know if he still goes under Trey Little.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, when they stop, they go under their government name, like me. My Facebook is under my government. It's no.
Oh, you've matured. I'm so proud of you. That's funny. So now we're going to talk a little bit about the present, life now, the current landscape. What does life look like for Hussein today? Are you still in the music? And if so, what is your current role or focus in this industry?
Well, I'm still affiliated musically. Like, I got a friend and a brother music family, Big Hurt. We always,
Ah,
him and my sister Miko, what's up though? Um, I'm affiliated. I was throwing events for a minute, showcasing new artists, underground talent, but I kind of stepped away from it because it seemed like it was the same thing that I was seeing people do, and you got to be able to evolve and put a new spin on it. And I didn't want people to be like, "Oh man, he back, he doing the same thing they was doing in 2012." So
mhm.
I came with a format of doing stuff like every 45 days, every 90 days, and be able to bring something to the table this time, like,
Mhm.
a label head or some type of reps, or be able to pay for a feature, a video, studio time, or be able to just, put out that person that's outstanding, and put some shine on them, because this a lot of music out here. Drill music is dominating the scene right now, but I'm from the era before drill music
Mhm.
was even thought of, which was hip hop.
Mhm. Okay. Okay. So, but at least you still doing something. I always say to keep the wheels moving, keep the wheels evolving. But the one thing that I've learned over the years is to always learn. Don't ever feel like you know everything, because there's somebody else out here that knows a little bit more than you. Because the
Yes.
saying going, right? If you're the smartest person in the room, then you in the wrong room.
Mhm.
So I say that to say, if you sit back and you look at everybody in the industry and how they're changing, there's a lot of people that's not famous, but they out here making money.
Yeah.
And so I always advise my clients to team up with somebody who's doing something that you want to do, and allow them to pour into you, and and retain some nuggets for them, right? And so we know you're not going to get back out here and try to go after a career, but there is always money to be made.
Oh, it is ghostwriting.
And what else?
Producing,
Mm-hmm.
management,
Mm-hmm.
marketing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a whole, ring around there. I'll be trying to have octopus arms. That's what my brother always
Well,
tell me.
because you do have the gift of gab. But I would say this, and this is the piece of advice that I would give you. If you choose to go into one of those arenas, you've already said it yourself here that your strong suit is not the business side, right? So
Well,
what?
then it wasn't.
So you telling me now?
Yeah, because you got to learn from experience. You got to bump your head,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't just bump my head. I split mine because I kept doing it, but
Okay.
it would be with different people. And then after you start learning, you got to learn the language,
Mm-hmm.
of the contracts,
Mm-hmm.
and percentage. And I had to go get the industry Bible
Okay.
and, read and study and just learn about things. So yeah, now, I can see it, when the hustle comes, 360 deals, everything like that. But I tell people all the time, it's up to you how you want to do it, because you got to have money to be independent.
Yes.
And people don't have money to be independent. So you got to take the 360 deal just to get the notoriety for people to know who you are. So,
Okay.
it's a.
Okay. So that kind of answered my next question about how has your relationship with music changed, and the experience from both riches and reality. So like you're saying that now you've learned a lot about contracts and other things. Do you feel like, if let's just say an opportunity came tomorrow and they say, Hussein, we want to sign you on this contract, what steps would you follow if you decided to say, yes, I'm gonna do it? What
Well, the
would you
first
do
thing I'm doing,
differently?
I would have a lawyer first. I would take the contract and get a lawyer first and get it read over, because the first thing that we learn about a contract
Mhm.
is everything. A contract is made to be negotiated, not to
Mhm.
be signed right there. The wordings can be made where all parties can be satisfied. So you just got to know your value, your worth, and you got to realize that your publishing, songwriting, your catalog, that's everything. You ain't got a catalog, one hit wonder. That could be good. I mean, because there's some people that made one hit and never had to do it again. But that's one in a million, like hitting the Mega Millions in the Powerball.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm proud of you, Hussein. I'm so you've evolved. You've really matured, man. I tell you, boy, I tell you. I'm having fun doing this podcast with you. This is awesome. So, the industry comparison. How do you think the industry for a new artist today compares to the one you broke into?
Well, I can say this: the way that it's changed. Me and my brother, we were talking, like me and her had this conversation before too, and we were talking about how the money is different.
What do
See,
you
when
mean?
we were doing it, you listen to LL Cool J, he said 10 G's for 20 minutes is the pay that I earned.
Okay.
Okay, that's back then.
Okay.
And it sounds like good money because you got to think about back then. But look at Chris Brown's concerts. $1 million grosses. Look at Big Extra Plug, Drake. All of these people that are doing shows compared to Run DMC, LL Cool J, all of these artists before them, they didn't get the bag like that. That's what they talk about now. How easy it is for them to get the bag. We had to fight for the bag.
Well, that's true. Y'all y'all paved the way for industry artists for today. And the one thing that I can say is that African Americans was not taught about the art of negotiations, whether it's in the entertainment industry and in the commercial industry. We wasn't taught about. So when you learn that, and then you learn your value and your worth, then you don't accept anything less. And so you got to think about it. The artists today, they understand their value, they understand their worth, they understand how to negotiate. Like, I listen to Lil Wayne, I might can't understand what come out his mouth, but he know business.
Oh yeah,
he know business. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So, and if it's something that he don't know, then he hires the people to know it, right? And so you might not know everything, but as long as you got a good team, like, they'll help you. Because I got a squad. I don't know everything, but my squad, they are the missing pieces of the puzzle. And so, so that's a good point. And so again, if you got out here and you did your thing, so you're gonna have your attorney, you're gonna have the crew, you're gonna be like Drake.
Yeah. I'm gonna have my whole team, my writers.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? My publicists. I'm gonna have everything that's needed, so I don't have to focus on anything except being an artist.
Yes. So that's good. That's good. So now, before because in a little while we're gonna go into the segment of the show where the virtual audience is able to ask questions. So you guys make sure you put your questions down in the chat box, because when we get to that section, we are going to answer your questions. We're gonna let Hussein answer your questions. So I'm just preparing you. Get ready, right? But so first of all, let's just talk a little bit about the legacy that you're leaving, or the precedents that you've set. Have you began to pour some of this knowledge of the things that off into your offsprings or into other individuals?
Well, yeah, actually, my kids, me and my son Kilante, we talk a lot. And my son Kilante is a lot like me, so he tends to overpower the conversation because of his experience and still being active in it. So I kind of, had to learn how to play the back a little bit and not be off to the front, and learn to let them, bump their head if they got to bump their head. Give my advice like we always did. We've always been great parents and try and steer, our kids in the right direction. I mean, nobody's in jail, nobody's dead. Everybody is prospering. But yes, most definitely. It's crazy because I think about everything that you've seen.
Okay.
You remember seeing Q when I bought him the little music machine, and he would sit up there and I would play beats, and he would just take his finger and act like he was scratching. And,
yeah.
Everything started from the home, like I said, and I admit it. You have always had the business mind, and if I would have back then, accepted, ideas and stuff, because you would see me about to bump my head, but you knew how I was, and you would just say, "All right, I'm not gonna say nothing,"
Mhm.
and just to keep it down, and just for me to see it, because had I listened and it did, I would be able to blame you and say, "Well, you the one that said it," because
Mhm.
that's the type of person I was at that time.
Yes.
But it's growth here, and you know, um,
So wait, so this is what is that? This is an apology? Is that what I hear? Like I mean, let me like sit up, let the camera. Don't be trying to hide from the.
yeah.
So this is this. So how many years has it been? 40? Well, not 40, because then that would have made that have been. Wait,
It's been
30, at least 30 years.
no,
Because we was
2002. Jalen was born.
okay.
Okay, it's 2020. Whew, man, it's been
Yeah.
about 20 years.
Because we actually met when I was 17 years old. So we've been knowing each
Yes.
other for a long time. But like, although you've been in the music industry all of those years, I do agree with you, because I've always wanted more for you. But sometimes you can't want something for someone more than they want it for themselves. Yes. And so I am proud that all of these years later, I hate that it took so long, but all of these years later, that you have realized some things that I've been trying to pour into you, but it's better late than never,
I mean, yeah, it's better late than never. And like I said, like even with as I watch, because I tune in, I watch your podcast.
Okay.
I see the growth, I see the maturity, I see the way that you run like an actual business, and it's a difference. I've always ran my business like a hustle,
Okay.
and it's a difference. But
Okay.
when you're used to, doing street stuff in the streets and running in the streets, then you're not going to properly run right, because you don't have the proper pieces around you. Everybody around you had the same mindset you do, and you have to broaden your surroundings sometimes, and not be scared to get out the flower pot and step your foot in the new grounds. And I was kind of always scared, because that's why I always did groups. I never really put out a solo album, because I never wanted the full pressure of everything just being on me. I wanted to have some people I could push it off on. So I can admit that too.
Well, listen, that you've matured a lot, sir. You've matured a lot. Shout out to your lovely wife, Ursula, for helping him mature. Woo!
Yeah.
Yes, I know all things is possible.
And believe it or not, she's my biggest critic. Like, she'll listen to stuff and she'll be like, "You can't." If I say something and she heard it before, she'll be like, "Oh, you recycling raps. Stop saying stuff you've been saying for 3 years and do something new." You know what I'm saying? So it's motivation, because she don't just let me just get out here and just say anything if I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's good. You guys make a good team. We make a good team, and I'm happy for you. So we're gonna dive into the question and answer section for the virtual audience, and then when we get through answering those questions, I got two amazing questions that we're gonna close out on. So do we have some questions from our audience? What we got here? Okay. So make that bigger so I can see, sir. Push the square in the bottom of the screen. Yeah. Either one. Not that. Right there. No. This right. You see the square? Yeah. Try that and see. Yeah. No, that wasn't it. That wasn't it, y'all. My no. Okay, there you go. Now, do you see over in the bottom right hand corner of the screen? There's a little box right there underneath. Right? No, touch the box for him, Deja, please. Right there. That's how you. There you go. There you go.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we older people here over here, y'all,
Yeah,
and we have the screen on the wall, and so we need to be able to read. So anyway, the question says, if you could rebrand and come back out knowing your career would take off because real hip hop started trending again, how would you debut?
I would debut actually claiming my age and not trying to be young, but to be embraced, you know, because I have this character that I'm doing now, a spinoff from Hussein,
Okay.
and he's called Old Head.
Okay.
And Charles Green is School.
Okay.
That's what the young people call us when they see us. What's up, School?
Okay.
What's up, Old Head? So it's embracing it and marketing it and being proud of my age and, you know, letting people know that in my music.
Okay. All right. So old head, huh?
Old head. Yeah, that's what I am. I'm old head.
Okay. You want to share your age, old head?
I'm 55, about to be 56, January 21st,
Woo.
next Wednesday.
You
God
getting?
see it and permit, you know.
Yeah. That's right, because your birthday is coming up. Your birthday is coming up. So January is a very eventful month. And then Kulante's birthday is January 14th. So January is very busy. Very, very busy. Very busy. More than you know, January is busy. I got other people's birthday in January too. But so anyway, bring up a next question. Oh, they said, okay. It must have been hard after your life-threatening injury. Did you ever feel like giving up? So a lot of people don't know that you had an injury. If you don't mind me sharing it, right?
Yeah.
So
and
you.
That's from Darren Peltier, my buddy, from Tower
Oh, hi,
Darren. And my head injury at Tower, I had one of the worst recorded injuries up there. Was a lot of people there. You know, shout out to everybody. You know, Steve Spicarelli, everybody, you know, but what was the question?
So the question, I love it. It must have been hard after your life-threatening injury.
Oh, yeah.
Did you ever feel like giving up?
Yeah, I gave up many times. I had to go through speech therapy. Erica was there, you know, she's seen the dark side, you know, with me coming fresh from an injury, not really knowing who my family was, my kids.
Memory loss a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So just to kind of give everybody a backstory real quick. So he worked at Tower Automotive and he was in the rework department. So Donald was a certified welder. MIG welder. And he was stubborn, first of all, because there's protocols you have to follow. Yes, you have to wear your helmet. When you're working on the frames, because they were building the Durango. There's a rework area, and the frames have to be the frames have to be stacked on top of each other, 3 or 4 or however many.
6.
Okay.
That was the Dakota line.
So because he's stubborn, as y'all can see, from the music industry to the workforce, they say you have to work on these frames on a stack. So he was working on one frame on the ground by itself, MIG welding the frame, and the high-low driver was coming around the corner with a stack of how many?
He had 6 frames.
He had 6 frames on his high-low, and he didn't see Donald. So everybody yelled at the high-low driver to let him know that he was here. He hit on the brakes, and all the stack of frames fell on him.
And that was 1,200 pounds each frame.
Yeah.
So I had about 5 tons fall over top of me. But luckily, because I was skinny, the stacking pins were about like this. My waist was about that size. I was blessed enough not to be crushed to death.
Yes,
you know, I end up getting staples, a steel plate in my head, and history of migraines.
Mm-hmm.
You know, suffer from depression, anxiety,
mood swings,
mm-hmm.
memory loss. Yes, yeah, and so
just everything, you know. But I'm not ashamed of it. You know, everything in life happens for a reason.
Mm-hmm. And so by the grace of God, you did not give up and you are here today. Yes. And so we're thankful for that. We're thankful because you do provide more than you know, right? You provide things for the kids that I could not do, as far as when they tapped into the music industry and they needed that extra push, that extra confidence, then you provide that to them as well. So shout out to you. We appreciate you. Do we have any more questions? Oh, you want to ask? Oh, go ahead.
I wonder if you can hear me, Cam. First of all, who inspired you to be an MC?
The person that inspired me to be an MC, I have to say it would be Notorious B.I.G. Biggie Smalls. I've always been an East Coast fan. I like Tupac, you know what I'm saying, as far as the message that he had, but as far as music wise, what my vibe was the East Coast, you know, Wu-Tang, Biggie. I was just always wanted to be in that New York atmosphere, you know, seeing, you know, Queensbridge, MC Shan, KRS One, The Bridge is Over, you know, all of this. New York, you know, made the MCN be proud. It made you want to be a New York person, you know, because of the way they were looked at as MCs. So yeah, Biggie Smalls for sure.
Great question. Great question. I love that. I love. Do we have any more questions from the virtual audience? Okay, let's put up some of the comments up. Jalen, can you go to that part so I can see? Thank you. Okay, so he was a cold rapper, excuse me, an even better father. Everything has a purpose. Love you, Dad. Ah,
thank you, darling. I love my baby too.
Okay, next comment. Hey Chuck, what's happening? Charles
What's up,
Green.
my brother?
I remember it like it was yesterday, bro. You have a question? Okay, what's your question?
My question is, as an artist, like, how do you get over like you're writing lyrics and then like don't know what to put after that, like writer's block?
Well, yeah, actually, my head injury was the cause. You remember, I got to a point where I couldn't rhyme, I couldn't rap, I was having writer's block, and then, you know, that kind of put me in a space where I was just angry at the world because I was used to being able to freestyle and think of stuff quick, and when I could no longer do it, you know, I got angry at the world.
Yeah. So, did that answer your question?
Kind of, sort of, but like, how do you get over it now, though?
I get over it now by having somebody else that does it, that I know do it. And I'll be like, well, can you think of something? I'm stuck right here. And they say, well, where you at? Like, I used to do that with Buddha. I used to do that with Chuck. I used to do that with Boski, you know, Schizo. I mean, all my brothers in music, Don P. I mean, everybody.
Shout out to Buddha Bless. So Buddha, if you're watching this podcast, I want you to come be a guest on my podcast, because we've done talked all throughout the years, and you behind the scenes helped me with the kids, and I want to come and bring you on my couch so we can have a conversation. Bring your wife and y'all come on and chill out here with Erica Lynn Speaks.
Solo, but you might want to interview Fit too, because Fit is doing big things all through.
I see him all over my Facebook. What you mean, Buddha Solo?
Buddha is no longer married. Buddha is divorced. Buddha is with somebody else, and Buddha is.
Well, how you gonna put his business on the
That's my brother.
How you gonna put? Sorry, Buddha, that's your boy. That's your boy. Do we have any more comments or questions from the audience? We put our trust into many bro when we should have been understanding the business. Absolutely, Chuck, Uncle Chucky. That's what I call him, Uncle Chucky. That's Glow. Glow.
I think social media makes it easier for today's artists. Yes,
that's King's mama.
Yeah,
Glow.
What's up, Glow?
Thank you for watching the show. We have any more comments? Okay, awesome. We appreciate you guys for our question and comment section, and for just watching the podcast, because we love y'all. Without y'all, then we wouldn't have a podcast. So I want to, get a little bit into your wisdom, and because we got a couple of minutes before we get out of here. Based on your highest achievements and your toughest losses, what is the single most important piece of advice you would give to someone entering the industry today?
If you're entering the industry today, stay independent. Get your paperwork together. Get your publishing. Build your catalog. And utilize social media. Drop as many visuals as you can. Stay in a person's face. make a person get tired of you to the point where they don't have no choice but to take, to check it out and see, what it's about. You know, go for it. I say avoid all these 360 deals because you don't have no creative control. You don't control when you drop. You don't control when you record, when anything. The important part is keeping the power and controlling, your movements.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. Awesome. Because look, I always say awesome. One day I'm gonna do a podcast where we're gonna take that whole podcast and go back and say how many times I said awesome through the show. And that always take me back to my very first podcast with Pastor Leon. I said I didn't know another word. I think that was my only vocabulary. Awesome, and because I was so nervous and awesome, so I always said I wanted to go back and do a ding and have it ding, ding. It was amazing. What is it? We have a question. Okay, I can't see it though. We gotta make it a little big. We're a little special over here. Darren said, "Where can I find your performances? Are they all on YouTube?"
Yes, they're on YouTube. You can also find new stuff on SoundCloud. That Piff is no longer going, but I got a lot of new music with my son, that we're going to put out as a compilation, like a hidden gems, so I'll make sure, Darren, that I send you all the links. You send me your email and I'll get your email flooded with all the latest music from me and my sons.
Yeah. Monica,
My sister.
your sister, and she says great show, very informative. Hi, Monica, how are you? Whoever thought after all these years,
Ty Jones. What's up, my baby?
that I would have been on the stage, right? Because I always thought that I was there to be behind the scenes to help fuel everybody else's career, right? Be that business sense. But then to be on the stage, I ain't rapping, I ain't singing. I'm speaking, I'm motivational speaking, right? So I'm pouring into others. And so that's why I was saying, like, in this industry, the music business is so many forms of facets. Now I can't freestyle, but there's some times when I forget my speeches that I do make up some stuff and people don't know, and the audience still love it. So I guess that kind of is like freestyling, huh? So that's good. That's good. So I want you to give your closing thoughts here to someone. So if you could go back and tell the younger Hussein one thing before he got started, what would it be?
Business, watch your association, and don't be so trusting of others when it comes to something that you consider your career or something you want to, make a living off of.
Yeah. Okay. So wait, say that again.
Well, I'm saying one thing I would say to myself is stop putting trust in people with something that you say is your career, because if I would have had love for it, like I said I did, I would have really made sure all my I's and T's was dotted and crossed and everything. But I was too busy trying to get the reputation and not the money.
Okay.
I just wanted the notoriety again. I wanted people to know who I was. Okay. And that was backwards.
Okay. Awesome. So that's a good piece of advice to give to the listening audience, to just make sure that you read, learn, study. In this day and age, coaches is around the corner, right? I'm a coach. We have coaches everywhere. I even hire coaches to help me, because if it's not something that I know, then I go to the professionals and ask them to help me as well. And so that's a great piece of advice. Thank you so much for coming on to the podcast. It was such an amazing episode. I hope a lot of people got something out of today's show. So thank you so much for apologizing live on air.
You deserve it, though. And like I said,
I'm petty, y'all.
Petty Murphy.
Petty. No, I'm just kidding.
Can I say one thing?
Absolutely.
I want to give a shout out to Ty Jones. He's got a big event coming up this Friday, I do believe, for his birthday at Sweet 100. So everybody come out. support Ty Jones, support Gladiator, Jade Judo,
Mhm.
Juicy Nicole, everybody that's doing something in the industry, all my music family, C Notes Lounge on Monday nights. You know, keep doing it, and y'all just stay blessed, man. And you know, I appreciate everybody that did tune in.
Well, tell them how they can reach you. How can they find Hussein?
You can find Hussein on Facebook. You can find me on what's that? Instagram, Hussein70.
YouTube.
You can find me at Hussein WHO?SANE. Shout out to Boudin, my cousin fella Damon, Boski.
You sound like you're on the stage now. You do like this. You're not about to break out into a performance. That's not what this is. Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
No, I'm just teasing. I appreciate all of you guys for tuning in to this episode of Erica Lynn Speaks podcast. Now, if you want to know more about Erica Lynn Speaks, you can go to my website, IamEricaLynnSpeaks.com, where I have an amazing website. It's up and running. I'm so excited. And if this podcast has blessed you and you want to sow a seed into Erica Lynn Speaks to help us keep the ball rolling, you can tap onto this QR code and just drop a couple of dollars, whatever it is. We would appreciate it, because we use the money to pay for the staff. We use it to pay for my producer that we're gonna fight after this episode is over. No, but anyway, we use the money to keep the wheels turning around here so that we can show up and provide great content for you guys each and every week. So make sure that you tune in to next week's episode of Erica Lynn Speaks. We live every Thursday at 7 p.m. We're on multiple channels, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn. And then once the podcast page is completed on my website, you will see the audio version, because we'll be on Spotify and all the different streams. And so this episode will also be dropped on those streams. I'm just waiting on my team to get that done. So before we get out of here, I just want to thank Hussein for coming on this episode of Erica Lynn Speaks podcast.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. It was such a pleasure. And I'm glad that you provided some content for people, or some nuggets for them to walk away with that talk about your reality, right? So sometimes people think that when you come into the music industry that you're going to be rich and famous because you believe in yourself and your skill set is undeniable. But you have to take into account that you have to understand the business side. You have to understand contracts, that you need a lawyer, you need an attorney, that you need to talk to coaches, you need to talk to other individuals. You need to talk to other individuals that is in the music industry. And so when you do so, then you can then become successful at what it is that God has set for you, right? And so always make sure that you learn, study, and keep getting better. So I appreciate you guys for tuning in to this week's episode of Erica Lynn Speaks podcast, where we had Hussein on the show. He kicked his nuggets about rap riches versus rap reality. And so we love you guys. Thank you all so much for your questions, comments, for sowing your seeds. So go on over to IamEricaLynnSpeaks.com. And I'm looking forward to hearing from all of you all. And I'll see you next week on next week's episodes. So always remember, it only takes just one step beyond